Hey, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Tracy and I am a girl with plans. Today's video is a reading recap for the month of June. All right, so I'm gonna try to keep this video short, so I don't know that I'm gonna get into the nitty gritty of a lot of the reviews in here. I think I'm gonna keep it kind of simple, fingers crossed, because I don't want this to be too long of a video. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. My books to read list, I find that I'm really not using this. I am basically adding any books that I would like to read to my Amazon wish list, and that's how I'm remembering them. Or I'm tagging them in my Libby app, or I'm writing them in my notes app on my phone. So I'm not really using this, not really updating this. My did not finish list is new. I had it as a checklist before, but I decided to use an old, outdated vertical planning page from a Happy Planner. Underneath the washi tape is the days of the week and the month. So I just covered that with washi. And then I'm using the actual boxes to write down the books that I did not finish. And I wanted to go this route. So, because in the list, I just had the name of the book and then the month that I did not finish. This way, I'm adding all of that plus kind of a reason. And the reason why I did that is because my books this month are highly popular books. And I think I'm going to try to attempt to read them again. So I kind of wanted to put my little notes here so that I will remember to read them again. The first one is from Blood and Ash. Please don't hate me. I know that that is a beloved series. I think I just struggled with the slowness of the start. It's just a little slow, and I know it's going to pick up, but at the time that I was actually reading the book, I needed something more to keep me reading. That's as simple as that. And I did put it back on my Libby wait list for my library, and I think I should get that in like 3 to 4 weeks, and I will attempt to read that again, or if I'm still not in the mood, I may just defer it until like another month or so and try again. So I think I'm going to try that one. Actually, I'm pretty sure I'm going to try it, but I just don't know when. I have to get in the mood to read kind of one of those types of books. Crescent City House of Blood, completely opposite reason for stopping this book. This is my type of book. From what I told you about last month's books to probably what I'm going to tell you about a few of this month's books, this is my type of book to a T. The reason why I couldn't read this is there was just too much information thrown at me in the first 10% of the book that I got overwhelmed, and I just couldn't handle it. There were so many characters introduced, and I would say the first scene of the book. So, well, not the first scene, but like the major plot point in the first part of the book, there were so many characters introduced. And then it started shifting to talk about a different world, because there's House of Earth and Blood, and then there's House of, I don't know, all these different houses. So they started kind of bringing in information about those later on, still within the first 10%. But then you're introduced to a whole nother slew of characters. And I'm like, I can't keep the characters straight. And like early on, when they introduced a whole bunch of characters, some of those characters didn't even make it. And you're like, why am I learning about these characters? Like, some of them are not going to be important in the book. I can tell you. There's like one or two that may be, like, one of them definitely, but I just don't understand it. So it was just too much information thrown at me too fast, and I just couldn't handle it. So that's why I stopped reading Crescent City. All right, I am up to 26 books now. My original goal was 12. I only have 30 hexagons here, so I think I'm going to draw additional hexagons here, which is the back of my divider, but this is a divider I created, so I'll just do that. Here's my shelfie. Purple was for the month of June, so you can see the books that I read. The blank books on this side, I was trying to keep all of my series together, but it's taken me so long to get second books or subsequent books in a series from either the library or they're just not out yet, that I'm not sure if that's going to happen, because I don't want to keep holding spots for it and like filling it up and having to create a new sheet. Eventually I may have to create like a little, I guess, like do a Dutch door type thing. We'll see. All right, star ratings. Quick review of my star ratings. I'm not going to get too much into it. But my main difference between a 5-star and a 4-star is a 5-star is I will actually purchase the book or reread it. Whereas a 4-star, I'm not going to probably do that. But a 5-star, yes, I definitely could see myself rereading it. That's the main difference between those. 3-star, definitely middle of the road. It was okay. It was intriguing enough for me to finish, but I did struggle to finish it. And there wasn't any like sharp, strong connection to either the plot, the story, or the characters. There was some type of connection which caused me to continue to read it, but it who cares what had happened type thing. 2-star, it was a struggle. The fact that I finished the book was a miracle. There was no connection to anything or anyone. And then a 1-star is did not finish. So that's the difference between a 1-star and a 2-star. They're pretty much the same, but a 1-star, I couldn't really get to finish it. And this month I read 6 books. So here's the 5th and then 6th. And I had 4 3-stars. The 4th wing was a 5-star. And then I had 1 2-star. And I'll get to those in particular in a second. I will say, so far I've had 3 5-star reads because I am going to bump The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King to 5 stars because it wasn't fair that I gave it 4.5. I only gave it 4.5 last month because I figured that the first book in that series was like perfect. So I was like, I can't give them both 5 stars. But yes, I can. So I am. Both of those are 5 stars, and I would put them as 1 and 2 for the year thus far, and 4th wing as number 3 if I was rating it. So again, I read 6 books. I read and finished. I finished 6 books in the month of June, and those 6 books total 2,622 pages. So the books that I did not finish, I did not count the pages that I read. These are only the pages of the finished book, just because that's the simple way to do it. And those are the Kindle pages. That's how I look it up. All right, so the next section is actually my like reading calendar, and I use a 2022 reading calendar, and as the month is finished, I snip off the actual month, so that way when you look at it, July is the first one. It's just easier for me. I don't need the little things for May, June. It is what it is. I only need it for flip through purposes now. So here is June. Again, because this was a 2022, I used the Happy Planners Winnie the Pooh sticker book, and then I did a Monday start date, so that way all the days of the week are correct. All the dates correspond with the correct day of the week. So that was the easiest way for me. I used my own stickers for the start, finish, and did not finish. So that way, that's what I mark. I mark when I start a book and when I finish the book. And then I created new, did not finish for when I completely tossed it aside. Of course, during the end, I didn't do that. I have the stickers. I just didn't feel like using them, primarily because I didn't really love those books. And this is kind of my reading wrap up. Each week, I probably read at least 5 days each week, which I can still consider a win. Actually, no. Last week, I only read 4 days, but whatever. Still good for me. I was anticipating reading a day a week, so anything is better than that. Again, I wrote down the books I read, the books I did not finish, and then this month's top reads, there was only one, and that was 4th wing. I will say the other thing that I did not have to use this month, but I write currently reading. So if I start a book in June and didn't finish it, wasn't anticipating finishing it until July, I would have noted that here, but I did not start a new book. All right. My reading trackers, I don't even think they're worth going over because I'm not using them to guide my books. I'm just filling them in as I read the books I want to read. So I did do a book bingo. It's not that hard. If number in the title, if 4th wing is sufficient for number in the title, then I hit my book bingo. Same thing with A to Z. Not much has really changed. I did add in a B, but because I'm not using this to guide my book selections, I don't really know if it's worth showing. I have not updated my book series yet or my genre series on my genre list, but I kind of just want to flip through in case you were new to this. Well, I guess I have in a way. This is going to be ongoing until it fills up. So obviously I'm probably not going to fill this up this year, as ambitious as I may be. So this will go in and be moved to next year, and I'll just be continued because the whole point is just to see all of the series that I've read. Same thing with genre. I think I'll just change the pen color for 2024, but I haven't quite updated it, but as you can see, fantasy is heavy over here. However, you will see my dilemma coming up pretty soon. that this may only be a 2023 tracker. I may end up doing a new one for 2024 because I think I need to break fantasy down. And you'll see why. We are now going to get to my actual reviews, and I'm going to be pretty quick. So I'm using the Happy Planners horizontal planner for my reviews. I have dated ones, but I'm using the undated ones because this is Disney and they have cute little, like the Disney princesses and like little icons randomly on here, and I don't really decorate this section. So I thought, hey, let's use this one. All right, here are the books I read. Fourth Wing I'll get to in a minute because I did its own spread. Broken Bonds. Okay, I think there are 6 books total. This is on the Amazon Unlimited or Kindle Unlimited. I read this because this is highly like talked about on BookTube, mostly among people that read a lot of fantasy and fantasy romance type books. This is a fantasy romance. Like Fourth Wing and stuff like that, they're fantasy, but they're not necessarily, they have romance elements in them, but they're not like fantasy romance in its totality. I feel like Broken Bonds, or the Bonds That Tie series, was pretty much that in its totality. So it is a reverse harem type book. So if you're a fan of that, or if you're a fan of fantasy romance, then you may like it. I have determined that I don't. I like romance within my adventure fantasy books. So yeah, these were all romance with some action elements thrown in, and I wish those action elements were a larger part of the story, if that makes any sense. So the basic premise is you have a girl that ran away at a young age, and she is a central bond among, is it 4 or 5? Oh my gosh, like this book. Let's see. 4, right? 5 guys are bonded to her. So, and then, you know, that's the reverse harem situation, because you have 1 female and 5 guys. So like once with your bond, like either rejecting you or running away, which they essentially view that as rejection, they're unable to bond with her. And in turn, once you bond, then like you have these magical powers or elements, they are intensified. So you do lose out on that. Plus it's, you know, it's not a good thing to have your bond run from you. So she didn't really run from them because she didn't want to be bonded to them. There is other reasons for that. The problem is, even in the first book, which is only 289 pages, so I do think it is worth a try if it is piquing your interest, because it was a super fast read. She alludes to why she ran, but it isn't spelled out in the book until, was it the end? And I'm like, that wasn't a big enough reveal. We kind of knew what had happened. You should have just told us being the reader. So that was a little frustrating. I don't know. I just felt like it was one of those books where they kind of hinted at a whole bunch of things, but never really told you anything outright as the reader, which was frustrating. There's also like a rebellion going on, which isn't a good thing. And I thought that would bring interest to the book. And like that was something that happened. It had been talked about throughout all of the books. But at the end of book 2, it becomes a little bit more a part of the story. Notice I said the end of book 2. So it kind of kept me wanting to go to book 3. But by the time I got to book 3, I didn't care how much was in it. I was done. So I don't know what that said. I don't know if that says anything about the books itself, or it's just the fact that I don't love that type of genre. The Coven. The Coven is a paranormal book where your main character is a witch. There's also vampires and other types of creatures also in the book. This book, I think the reason why I ended up giving it 3 stars is I was disappointed. Oh my gosh, I loved the first quarter of the book. And then I felt like it went in one direction where I wish I had went into another direction. And that's the reason why I kind of struggled to finish it. So like your main character, she's a witch, but her mom, who's also a witch, like they moved away and like hid themselves from the Coven. And the Coven runs a school where they pull like witches from certain like lineages to, I don't know. It's never, it's like explained, but it's weird because it becomes more of a setting than essential part of the story, like the coven and the school, which is weird. I feel like if that became more of an essential part of the story in the first book, it would have been more interesting. It would have been interesting for us to find out more in depth what the main character had learned from her parents in regard to being a witch and like the history of the witches, which is a big thing of the story, but we don't find out enough about it, at least what she was told and what her mission is. Again, it's hinted at and it's just not, we're not given details. And then there's other things that seem to be crucial for the story, like some of her reactions and how she is triggered by certain things. It is like we get a little piece of information that kind of says why that happens or why she is triggered and has trauma, but we're not given enough to really know what happened. So of course my mind went one way where the truth was another way. And I don't know why they just didn't come out and tell us. So that was frustrating to me, and I did not like the ending. I did not like, I mean, like the shock moment was okay. That was okay. But then it just went into a direction I'm not sure that I'm going to want to read book 2. It was an easy read. So again, it's another one that I think is worth trying out. So yeah. In a Ship of Bones and Teeth. That is one that I had heard from a few booktubers that talk about the fantasy genre, that this was one that was definitely worth a read. I did not like anything about it. I didn't like the beginning. I didn't like the middle. I don't like the end. I didn't think there was anything good about this book. I almost did not finish it, but I'm like, I have not finished too many books this this month. So I'm determined to finish this one. And this one I regret finishing. So it is a retelling or a dark retelling of The Little Mermaid. So you have the Little Mermaid who's married. She is now married to her prince, who is not a good man. And that is one of my problems with the book. Not that he's not a good man, that's fine. But then they get kind of graphic about him like abusing her and things like that. And I'm not sure that that was needed. You know, I feel like they could have, I don't know. I felt like that was unnecessary. And that kind of already turned me away from the book. And, you know, it is a romance book between the Little Mermaid and then this pirate who holds them captive. And that also bored me. So we're going to talk about The Fourth Wing. So I created a spread for The Fourth Wing. This is supposed to be, I think, 5 or 6 books. So here we go. This is the name of the series. I don't think you can see it, which I think because it's gold, because gold and black are 2 big colors in this book. You have a black dragon, which is like the Mac Daddy, and then you have a little new gold dragon. And so that's why I kind of went with gold and black. And then the series is Empirine. Or Emperine. I don't know how you say it. So that is the series title. I just put the name here for now. I think I'm going to wait until the second book comes out to decorate it, because I'm going to see if that maybe triggers me to decorate it a different way than just using dragons. So here's my Fourth Wing synopsis and review. I'm not going to get too in depth with the synopsis. It's going to be short and sweet because this is such a new and popular book. There are so many synopsis and reviews online. But basically you have Violet, and that's who the story is following. Her mom is the general, and she's going to a war college where they are trained for certain types of, I guess you can say, like positions or roles in life. She had grown up wanting to be a scribe, which is a historian. That's what her dad was. So he, you know, also wanted to guide her that way. Well, he has since passed. Her mom is a general, and she is a dragon rider. And her sister is also a dragon rider, as was her brother. Dragon riders are like the elite of the elite, because obviously riding a dragon is hard. So not only is it the elite of the elite, but you almost have to you have to pass these series of tests just to make it through college, or I don't know, it's war college, but you have to pass all these tests and trials. And like, if you don't pass the tests, you pretty much die trying to complete them, is how you don't pass the test. And in addition to that, you have other students or other classmates that are trying to also hurt or kill you, because you are each other's competition. Because one of the goals with this war college, or as a dragon rider, is you are trying to, you want a dragon to bond with you. There goes bonding again. Wants to bond with you. And so that's why you're trying to eliminate people, because the more people you can eliminate, then the higher your odds of a dragon choosing you. And once a dragon chooses you, you're not out of danger, because people may want to hurt you because then they want your dragon. Simple, right? The main character, Violet, she's very interesting. She does get hurt a lot. She has some type of ailment where her bones break. However, I will give it up to the author. She didn't really have a woe is me type personality about her, which I loved. So I love that she really didn't play the victim or anything like that. She just kind of persevered and found her way to still meet the task, even despite her, I guess, I don't really know what to call it, but her weaknesses. So I enjoyed that aspect of it. I did enjoy the romance in this book. I enjoyed it a lot. I liked all the characters in the book, even the characters you were supposed to hate. I loved how they were written, because I really did dislike them, and they were essential to the book, and I really liked it. So yeah, I think all the characters were well written. There didn't feel to be any extras or anything like that in there. I will say, here I'm writing down some of my favorites. And one of my favorite things about it is you're taught to trust no one, because everybody is competition and they could kill you at any moment. However, there is a bond formed between some of these characters, a friendship bond where they have each other's back, and that is great in the book, and I'm really glad it happens. And I'm, yeah, I don't want to say too much, but it helps out and it works out, and it's nice to see that, especially when everything is so individual, because you just don't know who's out to get you. So I really enjoyed The Fourth Wing. I think if you do like the fantasy genre, you should give it a try. If you're unsure, this is probably a decent book to try as well. It is not a young adult book, because there is violence and stuff like that in there. It's a little bit spicy as well. But I think it kind of still reads that way as a young adult book, which means it also is easy to read, if that makes sense. Yeah, that's it. That is all I have. I will say that one thing I do want to do for the month of July is I'm still trying to read the ACOTAR series. I listened to the first book of the series, but I need to finish the series. I'm having a difficult time getting the remaining books from the library. I may just suck it up and purchase the books. I don't know yet if I want to do that. But I need to go ahead and do a spread for the first book, because it is taking me so long to finish the series. I need to remember my thoughts on it. So I may do that and then show you that in July, or at the end of July. So yeah. All right, guys, there you have it. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. And if you're not already subscribed, I would really appreciate it if you would consider subscribing to my channel. And I do want to thank you for taking time out of your day to watch this video. There are thousands, millions of videos on YouTube, and the fact that you took time out of your busy day to watch this means a lot to me. All right, so I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, evening, or night. Until next time, bye.